Hello to all my beautiful viewers out there. Today we're going to be talking about, unfortunately, why the Jordan Brand retros kind of suck. Okay, so to start off with, this is purely my opinion, and you may agree with some of my points, but you may not agree with my overall argument here. But I just wanted to express my thoughts and opinions on the retros, as I don't know, I've been kind of looking around, and it's kind of not a widespread thing to critique the Jordan retros too much. But I really just wanted to say my opinion about it. As I said, you may totally disagree with me, and that's totally fine. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below, but this is what I think about the Jordan retros in general, and more importantly, the main topic that I want to talk about is why I'm kind of disappointed by the OG Jordan retros that Jordan Brand is doing. And again, this isn't just targeting Jordan Brand in why it's horrible, but there are some faults, like every company, that need to be talked about and have kind of annoyed me for a while now, and I feel like I just need to express my opinion about it and talk about it briefly. Okay, so the first topic that I want to talk about that has eased a little bit over the past couple years but was really bad a couple years ago is the oversaturation of retro releases. So initially, way back in the day, when a Jordan got retroed, there would be very few retros being released in a year. And if they were being released, it would only be certain iconic colorways with certain stories behind them, or OG colorways that released like they were back in the day that would get a release in the calendar year, right? But now, over the past couple years, but as I said, it has eased off a little bit, they are just slamming and throwing at us all of these retros left and right. Retro Jordan 4 this month, Retro over Jordan 3 this month, Retro over Jordan yada 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 yada, here, there, everywhere. Oh my god. Calm down, Jordan Brand. Jordan Brand, as I said, you have calmed down. The worst contender of this is Adidas. Adidas is doing way too many retros of the 350 V2s, and that's a totally different conversation for another video. But I'm glad that Jordan Brand has eased off a little bit, but I'm still feeling like there's too much. It's too heavy, man. Like, I cover a lot of these retros on the channel, and I'm almost struggling to find time with a lot of these sneakers being released because there are so many being released, man. It's just sneaker here, sneaker there, sneaker here, sneaker there. Calm down. We don't need as many retros. I personally think if Jordan Brand slowed it down on the retros, like to only like once a month, they would do so much better in the community's eyes, in sales, if they just slowed the retros down and focused on retros that people want, retros that people have been asking for ages. For an example, the 30th year anniversary for the Jordan 4, we got Flyknit 4s in University Red, Volt Green, Orange, and Blue. They are hideous. They are disgusting. They are such bad colorways. Not to mention, they're done in Flyknit, which I don't think a lot of people were asking for, but they got a release anyway. And the part that annoys me the most is not many people are asking for Flyknit 4s, right? A lot of people are asking for the mostly white 4s with a little bit of green on them. I forgot the name of the colorway off the top of my head. Sorry. But that colorway, go on Instagram right now and go to heaps of retro pages that just post retro Jordans and go to the comment section. This is such a sought after Jordan retro. I think it was first released in 2003 or retroed in 2003. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it is super sought after these days. And instead, for the 30th anniversary of the Jordan 4, we get something that nobody, well, I say nobody, but most people did not want. We get Flyknit 4s in horrible colorways. And if you go onto the resale market now, if I go onto GOAT or StockX right now and have a look at what the community prices are for these Jordans post-release, a lot of them are under retail or barely over retail. And it's because nobody really wants them. People are charging over retail because they want to make that profit. They want to make their money back for buying it. I understand that. I get that. But a lot of people at this point are just cutting for their losses, man. They're just trying to get as much money as they can to cover the loss of buying these Jordan 4 retros. And that's the worst part, that they even bought them in the first place. But it's too heavy. We're having too many retros to the point where it kind of feels like Jordan Brand is just throwing out any idea that they have. And I would rather Jordan Brand pick up everything that they've got, take a breather, and start asking the community, start asking the people that are buying them, that are talking about them, what they want. Have, I don't know, like not a support group, but a community channel where we can talk about directly to Jordan Brand about what retros we really want, what we really need. Heck, start a department. I'll run the department about which sneakers people want by addressing the community. That would be the best way to handle it. Honestly, that's probably the best way they could handle it. Literally have a section of the Jordan Brand team talking to the community about what sneakers they're looking for, what they're really keen on, and get public opinions on sneaker releases. Because I see on like Cop versus Drop, all these other pages and stuff, or Cop O'Clock on Instagram, about these polls on thoughts on upcoming releases. And a lot of the time the Jordan retros get posted on these pages. And you have the public opinion being displayed on these pages because people are voting for them. They're like, yep, nah, yep, nah, yep, nah. That is an awesome way to tell us if we like retros or not. But what should be done is the Jordan shouldn't be really released and we should have that opinion after it's released. It should be Jordan Brand releases photos of potentially an idea of an upcoming sneaker and gets a community idea. So if people vote yes, if we have majority saying yes, we want this, it gets released. I mean, I understand it's like a massive corporation and it's unlikely to happen, but it needs to pay attention to its community just a little bit more and actually release sneakers that we're actually wanting and not bombarding us with this massive quantity of sneakers that we just don't want. I mean, man, there are so many retros this year that I'd rather them be doing on other sneakers or other colorways instead of the ones that we're getting. Like, for an example, I don't want these Flyknit 4s that got released. I would much rather, for the 30th anniversary, a whole pack of the OG colorways getting re-released. That would have been perfect. Imagine that. Every single Jordan 4 OG colorway getting re-released instead of these Flyknit 4s. That would have been amazing. Jordan Brand would have killed it. And imagine, as I said, is instead of them just like bombarding us with heaps of retros, they eased it down and said, you know what? We're not going to release too many Jordans for the next couple months. And then they were like, bam, 30th anniversary, you get all the retro colorways that originally released back when the Jordan 4 first came out, re-retroed. That would have been perfect. That would have been awesome. That would have made 2019 the year of the Jordan 4. That would have been so, so amazing. And some people will say, yeah, but we got the bread 4s. Yeah, but that's settling for less, guys. That's settling for one OG retro. We could have gotten all of them, but there's just that disconnect between major brand and the community, which I really want them to get back together and just, start talking it out, start discussing with the community what they want. Because in my opinion, a lot of these retros, there's too many of them. That's the first point. Oversaturation, there's too many of them. And there's missed opportunities. We're getting releases that we don't want, that we don't need, and they're being released anyway. My major statement that I want to make in this video, like the big number 3 point, instead of oversaturation and unneeded retros, is the quality of the retro OGs, man. I discussed it a little bit in my sneaker jargon video about like what a retro is and what a retro OG is. If you guys haven't peeped out that video, peep it out, because that's what I'm using for the terminology of what a retro sneaker is and what an OG retro is. But in my opinion, an OG Jordan retro is bringing the shoe from the past into the present exactly the same way as it was in the past. But Jordan Brand's version of what an OG retro is bringing a shoe from the past back to the present with the correct branding on it. And I don't feel like that's enough criterion to really say that it is a Jordan retro OG. It's not enough, because an example is the infrared 6s. They were doing an incorrect red all the way up until 2019, and even arguably some people say that, doing a 1-to-1 comparison with the original infrared 6s and the 2019 infrared 6s is that the red's still slightly off. I like that they fixed it basically to the point where it's like, yep, that's basically the exact same, but the fact that it took them that many years to get it right, it's annoying. It's a pain in the ass. Like, we shouldn't have to wait this long for you to retro a shoe exactly how it is back in the day. But as I said, I feel like there's so many more criterion than just the correct branding and the correct colorways. In fact, I've got like a whole little list here of like what I think correctly makes a Jordan 1 OG, oh sorry, not Jordan 1 OG, but a Jordan OG retro a correct OG retro. And here they are. Here are my rules to being an OG retro, right? So number one, same colorway. Exact same color as the original. Don't change it. Don't make the color darker. Don't do whatever. I don't care. If you're doing a retro OG, if you're bringing your shoe back exactly how it was back when it was initially released, it has to be the same color. Don't change it because you feel like you have to change it. Keep it the same. My second point is obviously the same branding. Jordan Brand has been better with that over the past couple of years. And they've been, as I've said, Jordan Brand is improving. This is not taking it all out on Jordan Brand. They have been improving. I'm glad that they're improving and are listening to the community more and more and more. But they've got room to improvement, and this is what the video is about, guys. It's just saying where they need to improve and where I think they need to improve. Again, you can totally disagree with me on this, but this is where I think Jordan Brand needs to improve on, right? So, as I said, same colorway. Jordan Brand's doing a pretty good job at it, but they need to, stick to it. They need to release colorways exactly how they were back when they first got released. The second one, same branding. Over the past 5 years, you've been doing a really good job of that, actually. I've noticed it with the Jordan 1s, the Jordan 4s, and the 3s and 6s. The 2s, unfortunately, I'm really sad that we're not getting enough, we're barely getting any 2 retros, but I'm happy to see that the 3s, 4s, and 6s are getting OG branding. It's very nice. I think Jordan Brand, if you're watching, do a lot more OG retros, like as they are with the branding. So we've got same colorway, same branding, same cut and height. This one I'm not hugely fussed by. Like, I can understand and be a lot more lenient with rule number 3, which is the same height or cut, because I understand that these shoes were made in like the 80s and 90s and that they were used with actual molds. They weren't used with 3D models and stuff that we have with all modern day shoes. But it's a real big thing to have the same cut and height. And I think that mainly sticks with me with the Jordan 1, because a lot of colorways that are being released in the mid cut. And I don't think the mid cut for the Jordan 1 should release at all. It is a stain on the Jordan 1 release calendar. The fact that you're going to release awesome looking colorways on mids is gross. You should never release mids at all, let alone good colorways on mids. That is horrible. And I'm mainly saying that because the yellow toe got a mid release and I'm a little bit bitter about that. I wish the yellow toes got released in highs. Apparently that's happening in 2020 now. Apparently the yellow toes are being moved from 2019 to 2020. But as I said, the same cut and height, that's more lenient on my end. I'm okay. As long as you do same branding, same colorway, I'm pretty happy. But with the Jordan 1s, I'm a little bit bitter about that. I feel like you should be doing the same height. If you're going to call it a Jordan 1 high OG retro, make it the same height as an original Jordan 1 from back in the day. Don't just be like, oh, it's high enough. Release it in the same height. And thank you for actually sort of listening to your community there, though, Jordan Brand, because I've heard allegedly you're releasing the Chicagos next year in 2020. Same colorway, same height. You know what? If you don't let me down and actually do it, maybe this video will be worthless and maybe you've actually proven me wrong. But until that day, I want to see what's going on, because I always show the iconic image on the channel of the cuts of the Jordan 1 slightly curving and changing over the years. But I think if you're going to call your retros OG, they have to be OG. They have to be the same cut and the same height, the same branding, the same colors. And point number 4 is kind of just like a duh. Like, it's just like, of course you're going to do it. It's the same materials or cushioning. So if you're going to call it an OG retro, use the same leather, use the same fly knit, use the same whatever materials you have to use if you're retroing a shoe. Use the same materials. Don't call it an OG retro if a Jordan 1 didn't use patent leather and you're now using patent leather, okay? Like, right? Like, you're releasing the Shatter Backboard 3.0 soon, right? And they're going to have patent leather on them. You can't really call it an OG because it's got patent leather on it. And Jordan 1s originally did not have patent leather on it. And me not, I wasn't born in 1985, but I know that they didn't have patent leather on them because you can literally Google Jordan 1 1985. None of them had patent leather on them. None of them. So I don't think you should call it an OG retro if it's got a different type of material on it. I feel like that's totally differentiating itself from an original release. And it kind of removes it from the criterion of being, labeled as an OG retro. I don't think that should be a thing. I really don't think it should be. I mean, again, maybe I'm just being super pushy about it. Maybe I'm just like, this is how it should be. Don't try and work your way around it, Jordan Brand. This is how it should be. But this is how I feel. I mean, I don't know. Do any of you guys watching feel the same? Let me know in the comment section. But I honestly feel that if you're going to retro a shoe and label it as an OG retro, you should be releasing it exactly the same as it was when it first released. No exceptions. No exceptions. No differences. I don't want slight variations. I want it exactly the same. Again, maybe I'm being super touchy about that, guys, but that's my final point. If you're going to retro an OG sneaker and call it an OG retro, make it OG. And that's all I've really got to say, guys. I know this was a long video. I know that it's totally different from the content that I normally post, but I wanted to make a statement. I wanted to say something. I'm disappointed in the Jordan retro idea and scheme because there's an oversaturation. There's unwanted products that are being released when really we could have spent our time releasing something that we actually want. And also the quality and overall ideas behind what makes an OG retro isn't correct. I think it should be redefined so that we get proper OG retros. And that's all I really got to say, guys. I want to know your thoughts and opinions. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What do you agree or disagree in? Let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to follow all the socials in the description below. Helps you keep up to date with everything I'm posting. If you want to join the Discord, it helps you keep up to date with all the live streams and all the videos that I'm posting. And I just want to say thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you next time, fellas. Bye-bye.